Oftentimes we get visitors, unwanted guests, unwanted pests that come into our homes on our property that we may not want there, that we probably most likely don't want there. They're not inherently bad. They could be bad, but usually there are guests, visitors, invaders that we want away from our home, away from our property, somewhere where maybe we could appreciate them in another environment, more so their natural environment, maybe on a hike or walk or something like that. I want to take a look at ways to repel these invaders, more natural ways, not so much commercial products, and ways that you can defend your home and defend your property against unwanted pests that may come around, and look at ways that we can prevent them instead of inviting them. Unbeknownst to us, there are some things that we do or some things we overlook that may invite unwanted guests. First, I'm going to take a look at ants. Oftentimes we invite ants onto our home. We see them in the yard, in other people's yard. We see them around making ant hills or making homes of certain places. But oftentimes we may leave things around that may encourage them to come in or to certain areas that we don't want them to lurk around or make a home. It's good to wrap up your food products, wrap up anything sweet, keep any other food items away, and probably use these preventative measures. Things like salt, baby powder. I have tried cinnamon. I can see how cinnamon would work. A lot of these animals, insects, they have more sensitive senses of smell and taste than we do. So some things like even pepper that burns, they feel like it burns us, right? That might be like a slight nerve gas to them. So I can see how cinnamon, being a bit spicy, or peppermint, I heard peppermint works, could be a deterrent for ants. They have sensitive antennae, and I can see how these things could probably give a burning sensation or some type of like slight burn sensation. For us, it does give like a slight. For some of us, barely. And I can see for them being more sensitive, it would make them kind of run off and go away. Other things you can try: lemon juice, vinegar, something. I guess those are acidic. I can see, they're acidic, so that could probably be a strong deterrent for them. Chalk, bay leaves. I've heard of bay leaves. Bay leaves in combination with cinnamon and peppermint, lay them around. I can see how that would keep ants away. So these are solutions that would help us keep ants at bay from coming in the home. I do remember a time I had gone on vacation. Was I on vacation? Yeah, I went out of town. I bought some sugar cane, and I had the sugar cane laying around the house. And I should have wrapped it up, put it somewhere else. But yeah, I invited some ants in, and they stuck around. I had to, sweep them up, get rid of them, and find preventative measures myself. Funny story. Around that same time, I saw, it was weird. There was an ant on the tissue. I put the tissue in the toilet and flushed it. I went grocery shopping. I was gone for at least 2 hours. I came back. I kid you not, true story. The ant had crawled back up the toilet, and it had like an air bubble near its mouth. It crawled back up. Then it turned its rear abdomen facing the top of the toilet, and I don't know, somehow it propelled itself to the surface. That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. I didn't know it was possible. I know it sounds like a crazy story, but I just thought I'd throw this in here because I wanted to share that, because I've never seen anything like that in my life before. Next up, we have gophers. Gophers can cause damage to your street trees, your shrubs, your garden area, and you don't want gophers around your property. They do a lot of damage. I know they look cute. They look like, the groundhog that comes out of the ground, but they do a lot of damage. To keep them away, I read castor oil works. It sends them scurrying off. Even we don't like castor oil, but I can see why that would work. But again, these things, all these creatures have a sensitive nose, sensitive smell, sensitive taste, so that would send them taking off and keep them away from your property and help you preserve your trees, your shrubs, your garden, and other plants you may have on your property. One thing that works on several types of pests is garlic, and garlic falls in a category with hot peppers. I mentioned earlier, spicy foods or spicy spices basically A lot of them hot peppers, garlic contain something called capsaicin. It's CAPSAICIN. This is what makes these things spicy, and this is what deters a lot of pests. So you crush up garlic, your peppers, and this will keep away mosquitoes, certain bugs away from your plants. Especially good for you gardeners. A lot of you, even I do a little bit with beans outside, but just like in a little container. But yeah, this keeps away a variety of insects off of your vegetables. And I heard cayenne pepper works. Cayenne pepper works with a lot of things. Even bears, I heard cayenne pepper works with that. Bears, wolves, things like that. A lot of us get rabbits, so I think rabbits, that might work. I've seen rabbits out here eating vegetation. But yeah, I heard garlic. Garlic also works on mice. I've seen garlic work on mouse. In homes, outside of homes. So anything spicy. Again, I'm gonna probably bring this up again, that spicy foods help, and these are not commercial products. It kind of basically gives a natural effect. I know you wouldn't want garlic smell in your house. I think this is mainly for outside, for those who do gardening. If you want to be real sophisticated, you can get a mixture of soap and water and stir it up and put a lot of garlic in that. Cut up a natural garlic. You can create like a garlic spray to spray on your veggies or your garden, and spray around your property to keep insects away. The garlic tends to work against aphids, mites, caterpillars, armyworms, cutworms, beetles, slugs, mosquitoes, and flies. I didn't know that. Actually, I learned this myself just now. It works against flies, which is it's good information to know. Next, I want to look at raccoons. Raccoons can be gangster when they're ready. I know some places the raccoons are not afraid of people. They just hang out on the street as well, congregating, talking, looking at you if you don't look like you're part of the neighborhood. I've had that happen to me. I look at them, they look back at me, they're like, who's this guy? But yeah, raccoons, I've seen huge ones around where I am as well. Usually you want to use something like hot sauce or ammonia. Again, hot sauce is that spicy combination of things. You make it really spicy, their noses are sensitive. I do remember a time, I think we were moving our grandmother to another house, me and some cousins, or we were cleaning out the old house, and a family of raccoons had made their way into the attic and kind of nested there for a couple days. So I got this idea from my older cousin. So what he did, he actually took some ammonia and soaked a towel with it. We had on the little face mask, and he soaked a towel with it. He went up in the attic and he threw the towel up there, and that day the whole family of raccoons was gone. They were gone. He threw it up there for the day. We went out, came back, they were gone, never to be seen again. And I think they looked for the entrance to try to plug that up. Another thing, in your home, you want to look for any cracks or any holes where unwanted guests may come in, and have those sealed as well. Another option for the aphids. Aphids are the bugs that eat your vegetation. Another more natural option, aside from the garlic, is ladybugs. Ladybugs eat aphids, but I think ladybugs may eat vegetation too. I'm not sure. I don't know about that. I'm going to check up on that. But they do eat aphids. So if you also know where a lot of ladybugs are, you can collect them, put them in the same area of vegetation where the aphids are, and let them go to town, and you will no longer have an aphid problem. Then you can, if you want, collect the ladybugs and return them to where you found them. Up next, we have spiders, the hunters, the trappers. Yeah, a lot of people don't like spiders, but they do tend to take care of other bugs, but we don't want to see them. We don't want them around still. That's just a lot of us in our human nature, I guess, or maybe we've been trained not to want them around. I don't know. But spiders don't like onions, vinegar, and coconut oil. I also heard you can mix vinegar and coconut oil into a spray. Spray that around, and they hate that. It doesn't kill them, but they just really hate it, and they will also scurry off and go find somewhere else. For mosquitoes, another natural repellent you want to use is rosemary. Rosemary also repels flies as well, and it would be nice if you could grow these. It has a smell that keeps away other bugs, including what they call cabbage moths. It does pretty good in hot and dry weather. So those of you who live in more dry, hot areas, rosemary would help you get rid of those mosquitoes that tend to come around in warm areas, as well as the flies that come around during the cookout, things like that. There's also basil. Basil tastes good, but it also keeps away mosquitoes as well. So you might want to try some basil, some catnip as well for mosquitoes and bugs, and maybe even some petunias. I heard that works. Mint, I think I mentioned mint and peppermint. Those are also type of spicy plants that keep away bugs and mosquitoes. Lastly, we have deer. A lot of us, we like to look at deer. They're cute as well. They seem harmless, but sometimes they can eat our vegetation. So to keep deer away, you may want to have rotten eggs around. Deer hate the smell of rotten eggs. I heard garlic works on them as well. I don't like the smell of rotten eggs either. I wonder, is there like a way, happy medium, where you could have the rotten eggs? Maybe you not smell them in the house, but they're outside the house, and maybe the deer's sense of smell is stronger, so that's a plus. Hopefully we don't smell them and only the deer smells them, and that keeps them at bay as well. I also found out to remove ant trails, you can use white vinegar. I didn't know that, but that makes sense. It's highly acidic and has that really kind of soury smell that can get rid of ants and ant trail. I did use apple cider vinegar to get rid of fruit flies. You know, you buy fruit from the store and it may have a fruit fly in it that multiplies, or have a few in it you may not know, or it may attract some from outside. That apple cider vinegar is just like, it works like charm. I've used it several times. I basically soak like a paper towel in apple cider vinegar, put it in like an empty water bottle at the top, and that can attract the fruit flies. I put a hole in it. You put a hole in it, right? Or I don't even use a paper towel sometimes. That's one way. I also just put a little bit of apple cider vinegar inside the water bottle, and they just gather there, and they're so attracted to the sweet odor. Somehow it's sweet to them, and they fall in and die. So it either works when you soak a paper towel, you put it in the same water bottle with a hole, they still fall in and die, or you can do both. Put the apple cider vinegar in the water bottle, as well as soak the towel, put a hole in the towel, paper towel that is, and they will gather there, and they will just fall in and die. You gotta have some patience though. This is not something that's gonna happen instantly. It just happens, over a period of time, over, a couple of hours, or maybe less, who knows. If you have one of those really bad infestations where maybe you didn't know you had some sweet onions or something kind of in the bottom of some bin somewhere that's kind of attracting these fruit flies, it may take a while, but it does work like a charm. I promise you, it works. And I think that's it for my natural solutions. I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for listening. I'm sure some of you already know this and some of you may not know it. I just thought I would share information to help. I've used some of these solutions myself, so try them out and see how they work for you. You can comment below and mention your results. Again, thank you for your time so much, and please like and subscribe. Thank you so much.